Madame Pilon, où est-elle? Elle est disparue. Elle est disparue. Oui, la présidente du conseil d'administration, elle est ici. Merci pour votre travail. Merci à tous mes collègues du Québec, de Nouvelle-Écosse, de l'Ontario, à travers le Canada, tout le Caucus de 7 juin à nous ce matin. C'est un grand jour pour le Québec. C'est un grand jour pour le Canada. This country, this province, Quebec, has always been about building. We built big, ambitious projects from the Canadian Pacific Railway to the St. Lawrence Seaway and the Trans-Canada Highway. Built infrastructure that transformed our country, connected Canadians with each other, and Canada to the world. In many respects, the Port of Montreal started that very tradition, and it's now one of Canada's gateways to the world. Already there's more than 35 million tons of goods that move through the Port of Montreal every year, carried by 2,000 vessels, 4,000 trains, 1 million trucks. Canadian products leave this port and they're transported, comme Monsieur le Ministre vient de dire, to over 140 countries across the globe, generating nearly $100 billion for our economy every year. There's nearly 600,000 personnes qui se réveillent chaque jour because of this port. 600,000 people across this country. Le port de Montréal a été fondé en 1830 sous la forme d'un modeste poste de traite réservé aux grains et autres marchandises. Il s'est ensuite développé au même rythme que le Canada. Les Canadiens et les Canadiens ont construit plus de navires, ouvert de nouvelles routes maritimes et noué de nouvelles relations commerciales étrangères, notamment avec la Grande-Bretagne. Lorsque la Confédération a été créée quelques décennies plus tard, plus de 500 navires transitaient par ce port chaque année. Et grâce à des investissements soutenus dans le réseau ferroviaire, l'élargissement des voies navigables et l'agrandissement des infrastructures, le port a contribué à faire de Montréal une plaque tournante du commerce mondial, reliant le Canada aux 6 continents. Le port n'a cessé de s'agrandir et de se transformer afin que les habitants du Québec et de tout le Canada puissent saisir les possibilités de l'avenir. Aujourd'hui, nous perpétuons cet héritage. And we do it in a rapidly changing world. War in the Middle East, Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, and the new trade regimes are all reshaping the global economy in real time. Some of these effects are immediate and profound, closing markets, disrupting supply chains, halting investments. And in the face of that, Canada is focused on what we can control, building a stronger, more independent, more resilient economy, an economy built on the solid foundations of Canadian industries and workers, and bolstered by international trade with a diverse set of reliable partners. Le nouveau gouvernement du Canada diversifie ses partenariats commerciaux. Nous entamons une nouvelle mission ambitieuse visant à doubler les exportations vers des pays autres que les États-Unis. Nous agissons rapidement et avons déjà obtenu des résultats. En moins d'1 an, nous avons conclu plus de 20 partenariats économiques et de sécurité sur 4 continents. Par exemple, nous avons établi un nouvel accord sans précédent avec la Chine qui aidera à débloquer plus de 7 milliards de dollars sur les marchés d'exportation pour les travailleurs et les entreprises canadiennes. De plus, nous sommes en train de négocier de nouveaux accords commerciaux avec l'Inde, avec les pays de l'ANAS, la Thaïlande, les Philippines et le Mercosur. Afin d'exploiter pleinement le potentiel de ces partenariats, le nouveau gouvernement du Canada agit avec rapidité et ambition pour construire de nouvelles mines et autoroutes ainsi que de nouveaux corridors commerciaux et énergétiques. Et ces grands projets d'infrastructure permettront de stimuler la production de minéraux critiques et d'énergie propre et de renforcer la capacité du Canada à acheminer ses marchandises vers un plus grand nombre de marchés, tant au pays qu'à l'étranger. Ils créeront également des dizaines de milliers de nouvelles carrières. Now, for too long, the construction of major infrastructure projects have been stalled by arduous and inefficient approval processes. And just about a year ago, our government was elected to do things differently. Last June, we passed the One Canadian Economy Act to accelerate projects of national interest. And 2 months later, we created something called the Major Projects Office, which is a new single point of contact to get nation-building projects built faster. Just a month after that, we referred the first group or first tranche of projects to that office, including the Contrecoeur container terminal, because we understood its potential and recognized the imperative of building it fast. And fast is not something one associated with Contrecoeur, because let's be clear, the vision for this terminal expansion was first proposed in 1988, almost 40 years ago. Since then, it's been subject to delay after delay, extensive and duplicative regulations and approval processes. So last fall, working with the government of Quebec, we stepped in to help get this project built. Depuis que le projet d'expansion du terminal de Contrecoeur a été soumis au bureau des grands projets, nous avons réuni des partenaires du secteur privé, le gouvernement du Québec, l'administration portuaire de Montréal et des partenaires autochtones pour faire avancer ce projet. Ensemble, nous avons simplifié les processus d'approbation, élaboré une approche de financement efficace et obtenu les permis nécessaires pour que le projet se concrétise rapidement. Afin d'apporter la certitude qu'il fallait pour la réalisation du projet, notre gouvernement s'est engagé à verser plus d'1 milliard de dollars en financement par l'intermédiaire de la Banque d'infrastructure du Canada. Et il nous a fallu seulement des mois pour faire tout cela, non pas des décennies. Alors, je suis fier, avec mes collègues, d'annoncer, oui, enfin, je suis fier d'annoncer que nous lançons ce projet aujourd'hui, enfin. Et la première pelletée de terre aura lieu cet été et le nouveau terminal devrait être en fonction d'ici 2030. Voilà. Voilà ce qu'il est possible. Voilà, c'est là. C'est presque fini. C'est presque fini. Non, c'est le commencement, c'est le début. Voilà ce qu'il est possible de faire quand on a un but commun et qu'on travaille avec ambition et détermination pour l'atteindre. This container terminal expansion will transform the Port of Montreal. It will add modern, high-efficiency terminals, and integrated fully with rail, road, marine infrastructure, increasing capacity at the port by 60%. It will open the door to new markets and a host of new trading opportunities for Canadian businesses, and real results for the Canadians, including the people of Contrecoeur and the surrounding region. As Minister Boulay mentioned, creating approximately 4,000 high-paying jobs during construction and thousands more once it's operational, generating over $750 million every year for our economy. L'expansion du terminal de Contrecoeur est le premier projet soumis au Bureau des grands projets que nous mettons en œuvre. Mais cet été, on assistera au lancement des travaux de construction de la première partie de la route de la vallée de Mackenzie dans les territoires de Nord-Ouest. C'est près de mon cœur. C'est dans un projet qui est en arrêt depuis toute ma vie, mais on va commencer cet été. Okay. Voilà. Nous avons déjà soumis 21 projets et stratégies au Bureau des grands projets, des autoroutes, des mines, des corridors commerciaux qui s'attendent d'un bout à l'autre du pays, y compris plusieurs projets transformateurs au Québec. Par exemple, la mine Mitawini de Nouveau Monde Graphite, une nouvelle mine de graphite à Saint-Michel-des-Saints qui fournira des matériaux importants pour la défense et les chaînes d'approvisionnement des batteries. Et le train à grande vitesse Alto, qui sera le premier train à grande vitesse au Canada, qui circulera sur 1000 km de Toronto à Trois-Rivières. À Trois-Rivières, c'est important pour M. Hulot. Alors, ces projets vont créer des dizaines de milliers de carrières accompagnées de bons salaires pour les Canadiens et Canadiennes, des Québécoises et Québécoises, établir des ponts entre nos entreprises et marchandises et de nouveaux marchés outre-mer. Et tout cela injectera des milliards de dollars dans notre économie chaque année. You know, for too long, when the federal government examined a new project, the immediate question was why? Pourquoi? Today, our new government starts by asking, come on, how? How can we build it bigger? How can we build it faster? How can we build it now? The Contrecoeur is about more than the expansion of a port. It's an example of a confident Canada, a country that's building again, that's connecting to the world. With each shovel in the ground, with every new trade deal, we are building a stronger, more independent, more resilient country. Le Canada a toujours été un pays de bâtisseurs. À ce moment charnière de l'histoire, nous sommes une fois de plus fidèles à cet héritage. Nous bâtissons un Québec fort, nous bâtissons un Canada fort, et ça ne fait que commencer. Merci. Merci beaucoup. It's good to have an audience, hein?
Alors maintenant, période de questions. Première question, non? Oui. Bonjour, M. Carney.
Bonjour,
Laurence
madame.
Martin de Radio-Canada. Sur l'avortement, est-ce que Marilyn Gladu vous a dit qu'elle était pro-choix? Et est-ce que c'était une condition pour se joindre aux libéraux?
Merci, madame, pour votre question. Premièrement, soyons clairs. Le Parti libéral va toujours soutenir le droit des femmes à choisir. Toujours, sans question. Et j'ai eu des discussions approfondies avec Mme Gladue et elle va voter avec le gouvernement en ce qui concerne des questions d'avortement, en ce qui est des questions d'égalité, en qui concerne des questions les droits des Canadiennes et Canadiens d'aimer ce qu'ils aiment et d'être comme ils sont.
Can we get that in English before I do my follow-up?
Sure. To be clear, the Liberal Party always will support the rights of women to choose. Always, without question. And I had discussions, and colleagues had discussions with Ms. Gladue about those issues. She will vote with the government if there are votes relating to any aspect of that issue, as well as the rights of Canadians to be their whole selves, to love who they love, and to fully enjoy their rights under the Charters and Rights and Freedoms.
Mais vous n'avez pas un malaise, étant donné vos valeurs, à ce que, par exemple, Mme Gladu ait participé à une manifestation anti-avortement il y a quelques années?
Ce qui est important, c'est la politique du gouvernement et les valeurs du gouvernement, les valeurs du Parti libéral. Et c'est clair, j'ai eu des conversations avec elle en ce qui concerne nos politiques. C'était une politique de défendre les droits des femmes, les droits de tous les Canadiens, mais votre question est sur les droits des femmes et les droits de l'avortement. C'est une politique du Parti libéral depuis longtemps. Et pas de malaise parce qu'il y a un engagement d'appuyer, de soutenir ce politique-là.
Next question.
Merci.
Prochaine question.
Hello, Prime Minister. Mackenzie Gray with Global News. Outside of abortion, Ms. Gladu is also pro-convoy. She supported the truckers, something you are very publicly against. She's a vaccine skeptic. She promoted the idea of using hydrochloroquine instead of vaccines. She was also so against legalized marijuana, she stood up and read a poem in the House of Commons. So I'm wondering if Ms. Gladu's views represent the views of the Liberal Party under your leadership.
Well, thank you for your question. We've ran on a clear platform, clear values, defending the Charters of Rights and Freedoms, defending the right of women to choose, defending same-sex marriage, anti-conversion therapy, to save you asking that question. These are serious points. And people who are joining the Liberal Party at this critical time and supporting us, when I say people, I mean MPs, recognize those clear policy positions, those values. That's where we will go. That's what we will support. That's what we will advance. What the MPs who have joined the Liberal Party have brought is a series of perspectives and expertise that is aiding the country, the government, and the country at a crucial time. So since your question is about Ms. Gladu, she has more than 2 decades of business experience. She's an engineer. She's an experienced parliamentarian. She is someone who works well with other people, including across the aisle. A number of my colleagues have deep relations with her, despite having been up until yesterday in different parties. It's a big country. And it's a diverse country. And at a critical time for the country, to have Chris D'Entremont, une Acadien de Nouvelle-Écosse, d'être membre du Caucus libéral, d'avoir to have Matt Genereux from Alberta as a member, to have an engineer from Sarnia as a member, to have Laurie Idlow from Nunavut as a member of our caucus. They all bring perspectives from their regions, from their backgrounds, from their histories, but they all are subscribing to the values of the party and the core element of our mission, which is to build Canada strong, and to build Canada strong for all Canadians.
You're saying it's a big country. I imagine you think the Liberal Party is now a big tent, but it's quite a wide tent from where many of your colleagues have been and in past elections advocated for.
Il n'y a pas de changement de valeur du Parti libéral. Soyons clairs. Mes valeurs sont mes valeurs. Les valeurs de mes collègues sont les mêmes. Et les gens qui deviennent des membres du Parti libéral attachent aux valeurs du Parti libéral. OK? Mais oui, c'est un grand pays. C'est un grand pays. C'est un grand pays et un divers pays. Et il faut représenter le pays à ce moment charnière.
Are there any values that other MPs that you may be courting across the floor, if they hold, that would be disqualifiers from joining?
Il y a des valeurs du Parti libéral. We have our values of solidarity, of inclusivity, of sustainability, of the rights of women, of all the rights in the Charter of Freedom. We have those core values. Those values don't change. Others come to support the mission of the party and the government at this crucial time. And we are fortunate that they take those decisions because they bring expertise, they bring perspectives, they bring energy, and they will help us work together. And we add one other thing, and then we'll go to la prochaine question. You know, I'm very appreciative of the mayor of Contrecoeur being here and Minister Boulay being here, and very appreciative of our ability to work with the government of Quebec, work with the municipality to make sure that this project is not delayed another week longer, let alone 5 years, another electoral cycle, another decade. It's that form of working together with people which is moving this country forward. And I think what you're seeing in Parliament is representative of that.
Next question, prochaine question.
Oui, bonjour Olivier de TVA. Juste pour clarifier sur la question de mon collègue, est-ce que tous les élus sont bienvenus au caucus libéral, peu importe leur valeur ou leur position antérieure?
OK. Je répète, merci pour votre question, mais je répète. Les valeurs du Parti libéral demeurent. Les valeurs du Parti libéral restent les mêmes. La solidarité, l'inclusivité, la durabilité, le dynamisme du Canada et les valeurs primordiales dans la Charte des droits et libertés des Canadiens et Canadiennes. OK. C'est une question pour d'autres députés s'ils peuvent soutenir les valeurs du Parti libéral et ajouter au caucus libéral afin de bâtir un Canada fort, un Québec fort pour tous et toutes. Et ça, c'est la mission du gouvernement. Et ce qui arrive, pardonnez-moi, juste un instant, et votre prochaine question, mais ce qui arrive, et il y a des gens, des députés qui disent oui, je veux soutenir les efforts du gouvernement à ce moment important pour notre pays. Et on voit à travers le pays dans plusieurs secteurs, mais au Parlement, c'est le même.
Follow-up.
J'en comprends qu'il n'y a rien qui dépasse la ligne.
La ligne? Non. Ça, c'est l'envers. C'est l'envers. C'est vers l'en, en effet. Parce que, non, puis parce que c'est la ligne, ce sont les valeurs du Parti libéral. Et c'est des gens qui choisissent de soutenir l'objectif du Parti libéral, l'objectif du caucus libéral, et il doit soutenir les valeurs du Parti libéral. Ça, c'est comme ça.
Next question. Prochaine question.
Good morning, Prime Minister. Ashley Brooks, CBC News. In English, is there any red line in terms of an MP that you wouldn't allow to join your party based on their past statements or their past views?
So what the deputies in the House of Commons are elected and represent their electors and to the best of their abilities, and they choose how to best discharge those responsibilities on specific votes, private member bills, work, and which party they support, okay? They make those decisions. Those deputies make those decisions. The Liberal Party, I'm going to repeat what I said in French, but it's the other way around. It's the reverse. It's the values of the Liberal Party, the values of solidarity, of inclusivity, of sustainability, the fundamental protections in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Those are our core values. And I would add to that dynamism, building this country, ambition for this country. Those are the values that members of our caucus hold to. This is why we ran. I'm influenced by all their perspective. I am by their. Don't laugh. Say hey. But because we have those common approaches, and those who come to us, support those approaches. And you know, one over life, you know, one grows, one changes perspective, and one also sees where the priorities are. And I think, if I may, and this is from experience of those individuals coming to our caucus, it's also experience of working with other levels of government, the private sector, non-governmental organizations. There is a general sense of many, not everybody, but there's a general sense of many in this country, how crucial this time is and how important it is to work together to build this country. Now, if they're going to build the country, if part of that is to be part of the government caucus, yes, you support the values of the Liberal Party.
Follow-up?
And what is your message to Liberals who are uncomfortable with the idea of someone like Ms. Gladue, who's been open about her socially conservative views, joining your caucus?
Well, there's two things. One is we're fortunate to have somebody who has long experience in business, long experience. It brings great managerial and technical expertise. I mean, we're actually here at a project that requires that level of expertise. I mean, she's not going to run this project, but this is. You laugh. You're not laughing. Your colleagues are laughing. Just to be clear, Ms. Burke is not laughing. But you need a mix of expertise in government. You don't need a government of just lawyers. It's good to have some lawyers. You don't need a government of just people who've been politicians. You need government. It's good to have doctors in your government. It's good to have people who've been engineers. It's good to have people who've worked in non-governmental organizations, who've worked in philanthropies, been teachers, been nurses, others. You want to have that diversity of perspective. We're getting more of that diversity, not just geographically, but from experience, at a time that's crucial for the country. So that's the core part of the message, and that's recognized. If you see the welcome of, and my colleagues obviously speak for themselves, but the welcome of other members who've come to our caucus, welcoming these people in. But what also everyone knows in that caucus room is the fundamental rights that this party has fought for and will always stand for.
Next
Merci.
question. Question.
I'm Morgan Lowry, Canadian Press. On another topic, despite the ceasefire, Israel continues to bomb Lebanon. Does something need to be done to keep Israel in check to help bring peace to the region, maybe such as sanctions?
Thank you for the question. The ceasefire is very fragile. I think that's obvious. The ceasefire needs to include Lebanon. That certainly had been the understanding, and that needs to be the reality on the ground. That, of course, means that Hezbollah, a terrorist organization, needs to be brought under control. That is the effort of the government of Lebanon as well. And Canada will use its offices, its influence to support. I wouldn't go to what you're suggesting as the method at this point, at this delicate point in time, in order to advance. But the ceasefire needs to include Lebanon and needs to include it now.
Follow-up? En français.
Pardon, en français. Le cessez-le-feu, faut inclure le Liban. Ça, c'est clair. C'est fondamental. Il faut être la situation à partir de maintenant, à partir d'hier, en effet, mais à partir de maintenant. Et le Canada va soutenir tous les efforts afin d'atteindre cet objectif.
Follow-up?
And Donald Trump has threatened to punish NATO members, such as Spain and Germany, for not helping with the Iran war. How concerned are you about what this means for the stability of the military alliance?
Well, the first thing Canada does is to meet our NATO commitments, and I'll underscore that just a few weeks ago we met for the first time since the fall of the Berlin Wall our NATO commitments in terms of 2% defense spending. First point. Second point, what's important is not a number. It's important, first and foremost, protecting Canadians. And what we're doing to advance protecting Canadians includes working more closely with subsets of NATO allies, for example, the Nordic countries, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Germany, and others, for greater protection for our Arctic and an integrated protection for our Arctic. We do that within the broader framework of NATO. And I think that is part of how NATO's enduring contribution to Canada's protection is realized, and that's a robust way of protecting Canadians, regardless of how NATO itself evolves. But of course, what we are at the core is we're a strong NATO member. We're going to continue to support its evolution. Yeah.
We'll have time for one last question
Sorry.
and follow-up. Dernière question.
Hi there, Geneviève Beauchemin from CTV News. You talk about adding a diversity of opinion to your caucus, and I'm wondering whether we can expect more floor crossers to come on board the party this weekend. We've heard a lot of rumors about that.
Well, look, I'm often the last to know. Not quite the last to know because there's an announcement, but I will tell you in all seriousness, what has been the case is in each of these circumstances is that the individuals have come to people they know well in the Liberal caucus and expressed an interest in joining, and then a conversation has evolved from that. And near the end of the conversation is when I've met with those individuals. So I can't tell you more than that, other than to describe the process. And I think what we're focused on, what we've been focused on since April 28th of last year, after the election, has been having a very clear plan for the country and putting it to work. And this is an example of that approach. We took a situation where the board of the Port of Montreal, Quebec, the Quebec government had moved things forward, but there were things that were still holding it up. A number of them are on the federal side. Focus, delivery, determination, and now we're finally, 40 years later, collectively breaking ground, and this is going to be great for the region, great for Montreal, great for Quebec, great for Canada, and if it's good for Canada, it'll be good for the world. And that's the approach. And others are attracted by it and coming to us, that's great. But if no one else comes, then we'll just keep going.
Follow-up?
No, ça suffit. OK.